Jameson.
That's why. That's why I'm mixing too many cultures here.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Analytically Correct. The name will never get easier to say. We're here at Public House. This is Rob, of course, as always, Stretch producing at Public House on University, attached to Shamrock Liquors. Watch on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch, all that good stuff. We're going to kick off this week talking again about NBA. I think the major news, it happened Saturday night, I believe, Friday night, at like 3 o'clock in the morning, or it was like the 5th of July.
Yeah.
The 5th of Kawhi. Everybody is watching all day, and then he decides to wait till everybody's asleep. And obviously he chose the Clippers. And then even more surprising than that, because we were hearing about Lakers, Clippers, Raptors. So, I mean, you pick one of the three teams, it's not as surprising. But then the Paul George thing happened too, and I wasn't expecting that at all. I didn't hear anything about that beforehand. Yeah. And it's like, wow, this guy, we'll get deeper into it, but what were your initial thoughts basically with Kawhi going to the Clippers, just basic thoughts on that?
When the offseason started, I was really big on Brooklyn would win free agency for the East and the Clippers would win for the West. But I think the Clippers would win for the West, not with getting Paul George. I never saw Paul George on the move at any point. I didn't see him on the move until his contract player option came up.
He just re-signed last year.
I was waiting for, and that's not until another 2 years where he has a player option. I figured, well, if they don't do well within those playoff times and they don't, make that big jump, he'll probably jump off and leave somewhere else. But the fact that he was able to get traded, I think just makes very loud and clear that the Clippers have created the best team, I think, for next season coming in.
Well, I think wherever Kawhi went, it was going to kind of swing that balance. Like if you have Kawhi, arguably the best player in the league right now, what team could he have gone to that wouldn't have been an immediate contender?
Well, if Kawhi's by himself in the Clippers, I don't think they're the best team. I think the Lakers still have a great shot. I think Denver could have a shot to play well against them. I believe the teams still have their opportunities. But when you look at, you have the best two-way player, and then now you have the second best two-way player.
You think George is the second best two-way player?
I think he's better than Klay Thompson. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say Klay. Well,
I like
LeBron
Klay.
is still up there. LeBron's still up there.
No, LeBron was not up there last year as a two-way player. As a true two.
Well, he kind of takes his rest now on defense.
But that's what I'm saying. Paul George doesn't. And LeBron was that, but he's not that anymore. But
okay.
But Paul George now, I think when you look at where his career was at this season, you heard me talking last week, I believe he was a legitimate MVP candidate because what he could do. Having him as a guy who doesn't need to be the leader, he doesn't need to be that. He can just play his role just fine. He dealt with Westbrook taking full leadership on a team. He can deal with people on that.
Right.
He's fine with just being him and going out there and winning. He hasn't won a championship yet. Now here's a time. It's been a while since he's been close to one. When he was the Pacers going to a Game 7 with the Heat was the last time. I think it's really hard. I think the Lakers are the ones that really lose out on this because you can add all the old vets you want, but this is going to be a very tough team to beat. I mean, defensively, this team is going to dominate every group they see, I feel like.
Well, so you said with just Kawhi going there that you don't think it would have been an immediate contender, but without Kawhi last year.
They'd be a top 3 seed, I think.
Without Kawhi last year, they beat the Warriors in 2 games.
And I completely understand that.
With everybody healthy, too, that the Warriors had. That wasn't like the Raptors, all the injuries and everything. I'm not taking anything away from them. But the Clippers had a pretty good team last year.
Yeah, we're also talking now with Anthony Davis joining LeBron, who's now going to be a starting point guard, where he really at his career, I think, is the best spot for him to be.
Anthony Davis?
No, LeBron James.
He's going to be the point forward.
He'll be there. He's going to be their point guard throughout now, which I think is the right move for them to make at this point. But I think when you look at if those two just see a Kawhi with a Clippers team, they can still, I think, go out there with those vets because that's what the veterans have. But now you have Paul George. I just don't see a matchup where you can go because the third best defensive player some nights could be Beverly or it could be Paul George. I mean, it's just it's those those three are your defensive centerpieces.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
And it happens to be at the point guard position, which is huge. And both these guys are small forwards. They can play the 2 through 4 with Kawhi and Paul George. They play very big position. You need to be defensively dominant.
I think it was one of the more interesting parts about it too was not going back to the Raptors isn't as surprising or interesting or anything because he got traded there. It's not his first option or anything like that. But if you're choosing between Clippers and Lakers, he's pretty much saying, I'm not going to go play with you, LeBron or Anthony Davis. I'm going to go. I mean, he wanted to be in California. We know that, right?
Yeah.
So he could do Clippers or Lakers, and he actively chose not to play with LeBron and Anthony Davis. He's almost like doing the anti-Durant. He's doing I'm going to whether he thinks about this or not, I mean, he's like, I'm gonna take the harder route. I already have.
He didn't take a hard route.
I already have. Well, yeah, if he would have went to the Lakers, it would have been over.
He called for recruiting for Kevin Durant. He called for recruiting on Kyrie Irving. Then he also called for Paul George.
That's just kind of how it is now, though. I mean, he if he really wanted to take the hard route, he would have just went to the Pistons.
Yeah, same. Like, he didn't really take a hard. I mean, the Clippers were, like you said, were already a good team, and then he wanted one more with them.
Of the two options, though, if he goes to the Lakers, they're like a prohibitive favorite to win the championship. He said, I'm not going to play with LeBron. You're getting older. I'm going to take over the league now, and I'm going to go to the Clippers and have my own team.
Yeah.
And take Paul George with me. And I don't even think, you said about the whole recruiting Durant thing, if people don't know, he reportedly like called Durant and tried to get him to team up with him. And I think, I mean, what injury or not, Paul George, you could do a lot worse for a guy to team up with. As far as guys that had mobility to move to a different team, who else could he have picked to go to the Clippers with him?
Paul George, I mean, even over the two guys he recruited, with Durant, he want to get him for a year. Kyrie would be a great addition for him, but you already have Beverly, so you don't technically need that position. I think Paul George was number one, the best fit, because now you're the two best. Like I think they're the two best two-way players, and just the length on them too. These guys are both very, very long, guys that can shoot the ball. They can move all around.
Right.
I think it's just a great. I think it's the best duo in basketball right now. I just think it's just
better than
their age.
KD and Kyrie. Do you have the hat?
Yeah, I do actually do. I do. Kevin Durant's not playing right now, so
awesome hat.
But here's the celebration continues right now with the Brooklyn Nets satisfaction. Been waiting. But no, I do think obviously, right now it's going to come into that way, but it's also going to have to do with when Kevin Durant comes back. I think let's say he comes back and he's not as mobile, but he turns into Dirk Nowitzki. Like, no one's going to complain about Dirk Nowitzki over here being able to shoot the range he's shooting at. Like I said, Durant's still going to be special in a sense. I do think, obviously, though, Paul George and Kawhi is the best duo. Like, I thought it was going to be Jimmy Butler and Kawhi that were going to go together. And I could see that and be like, yeah, I think our duo does top them because Jimmy's not bad.
Paul George is by far better than Jimmy Butler.
And Paul George, I think Paul George, like I said, I think this season he was making the argument to becoming a top 5 player. If he repeats it, he's really put himself in the conversation to be top 5.
And if he did well playing with Westbrook last year, what do you think he's going to do with Kawhi?
And it's just the team as a whole. I think this team is going to be a very tough team. Like, it's almost crazy to say, but I believe a Clippers and Nets finals is on the way.
It's
in
so funny
2 years.
It's so funny. It's so funny that you said that because I was just going to ask. So are we looking at Clippers and Nets?
But when you say it, you're always hoping Knicks and Lakers.
It's not Knicks, Lakers.
It's Clippers and Nets, and that could be the next That could be the next Golden State Cleveland. That could be the next saga we have. And honestly, I'm all for it. I would love it.
I'm sure you are.
It would be awesome. It would be one of the great. Not only that, but for basketball, it would be great too, because now you're really bringing out the only sport that, because when you look at baseball, the big markets still survive. Look at football, the big markets will still survive. Basketball is different. Milwaukee's small market, Oklahoma City's small market.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore where you play with social media and everything like that. These guys make more money off the court than they make on the court.
Every team can now potentially be a very good team after this free agency, I think.
So getting back to the whole actual transaction of what happened with the trade, the actual trade, because Kawhi went there, so you're not losing anything if you're the Clippers.
Yeah.
What did you think about the Clippers giving up the 5 first-round picks, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's a good young player? I think they gave up Gallinari also, right?
Yeah.
What did you think? I mean, some people would say, oh, did you give up too much? And then other side of that is, if you're, so we'll get your thoughts on it, but my basic thing was, you're not giving up too much, because if that's what you have to do, you didn't only make that trade for Paul George. That's what you had to do to get Kawhi to go there as well.
This team isn't built to win the next 5 years. They're built to win now, and that's what they aim for. So I think it was the right move. Even though you're losing, you stated, I mean, that's technically 10 years of first-round picks right there, because the back-to-back rule is now gone. You can't go back-to-back-to-back with all these draft picks over and over going on now.
It's every other year. Yeah. So if you didn't know, you can't trade your first-round pick in back-to-back years.
Thanks to the Brooklyn Nets on that one, actually.
So the Nets rule. So they gave up 5 first-round picks, but it's not the next 5 in a row.
Yeah.
It's over the next 10 years. Every other year they give up their first-round pick, which you can say, okay, those first-round picks aren't as valuable in the first couple of years because obviously the Clippers are going to be pretty good, we think. But the third of those picks is going to be 6 years from now. You don't know what's going to happen 6 years from now.
I think Oklahoma City.
So over the next, sorry to interrupt, but over the next 4 years is 2 picks.
Yeah.
After that, you don't know if Kawhi or Paul George is still going to be there.
Yeah.
So the first 2 picks might not be that valuable, but down the road, they could go back to being the Clippers, and you could have 3 first-round picks.
I really like that they made the move, though, because you had to make the move.
Yeah, if you're the Thunder, look what you did. You lost in the first round last year. Westbrook's getting older. Paul George just had surgery. Obviously, that team wasn't good enough to win a championship because they didn't even get out of the first round.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Sam Presti, the GM for the Thunder, actually got as much as he possibly could. He knew, okay, they need Paul George, and I'm going to take him for everything that they got. I mean, it's the biggest haul that anyone's ever gotten for a trade.
I'm big on the fact I thought Presti was, when he was looking and there was the trades going on, I really thought that trade was very true about Siakam. I think it's crazy he wouldn't give up Siakam. I really hope that is not the underlying thing. There hasn't been any denial in those reports where Siakam was the centerpiece of a big trade to get Russell Westbrook and Paul George.
With Kawhi staying there?
Yeah, I don't see where anyone can. But he also, they were talking about him. He doesn't believe in the immediate. He likes thinking of the all-around future. And I was thinking more when you look at the Clippers, you don't want to, sorry to say this, Stretch, but you don't want to kind of fall in the seat of the Knicks here, where you have tell your fans we have 2 max slots. We just got rid of Tobias Harris. You guys just got rid of Porzingis. You guys have all this, potential future coming in. You don't want to lose out on this free agency. This was the free agency to really cash in on if you're a team.
Yeah.
I mean, there was so many very good. I mean, there are times where D'Angelo Russell would be a top-tier free agent, or he wouldn't even hit free agency because the free agent market wouldn't be this loaded.
And nobody's even really talking about him going to the Warriors.
No.
Everyone's just kind of like, and I think a sneaky team next year is going to be the Warriors. Like, okay, I know.
Yeah, that's a thing. I don't think the Warriors are out of it.
Yeah, no.
By any means.
Clay's hurt, and they lost Durant, but they were good without Durant. They won the title without Durant. And Clay's going to come back. And you still have an MVP in Curry, and now you have an all-star in D'Angelo Russell. And Steve Kerr's still a good coach.
I like D'Angelo Russell for the fact that I believe it fits with the whole. I like him for the number one reason of he's a better, in my opinion. What is this?
08 Celtics would have mopped all these new teams.
Oh,
what's the 08 Celtics? Is that the KG, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen teams?
Yeah.
That only won 1 title?
Oh, man, that's beautiful. That's hysterical. Wait, Heat with Westbrook. Well, imagine what the Heat are going to have to give up to get Westbrook.
It's so funny.
Yeah,
now that Paul George is out, too, all of the 2nd or 3rd tier teams are like, oh, I really want Russell Westbrook.
Oh, man.
As a Pistons fan, I'm going to buy a Westbrook jersey right now, whether we get him or not. I'll be wearing it next week on the podcast, even if he goes to the Heat or something. But the Heat want him. All the Heat fans want him. The Pistons fans want him. The Magic have been talked about getting him, and everyone cannot. All the fans are climbing all over each other to get that shitty contract.
Oh, dude, that contract's so bad.
I say shitty contract
it's so bad.
With the caveat that this guy is my favorite player to watch. I had it pulled up.
$47 million at the end of his contract.
When he's 33, he'll be making $47 million. Right now,
73 Knicks whack everybody.
Yeah, Wilt Chamberlain would have won 5 straight championships right now, right? Either that or Anthony Davis would have put him in his pocket.
He's got a $5.5 million trade kicker this year on top of the contract if you trade for him. And Westbrook that's a lot of money. I mean, he's worth it because he's healthy and he's an MVP and he's going to fill your seats and sell jerseys.
Fans.
But he's not going to win you a championship. He's not going to win you playoff series, multiple playoff series.
Right, but
he had Paul George going to win a playoff series.
All the fans of teams that aren't going to win a championship anyways would rather not win a championship watching Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. I don't think it's a bad. I think it's a very great move if the Heat obviously make it. I think it makes the East that much better. I think it's the best city for him for just the way he he's very big into fashion. He's loud. He's expressive. I think it's great for him to be in Miami. But
Parker's just trolling at this point. He said Bill Russell most rings better than Jordan. So is Robert Horry better than Kobe, or I mean, how does that whole thing work?
No, he'll say Paul Pierce is better than Kobe.
Paul Pierce.
He believes it. Parker, I love that
you're watching. He really believes it. He's not just saying shit.
Oh.
Tobias Harris just got $180 million. That's kind of crazy for. They forewent giving Jimmy Butler that money. And
no player option or team option. Straight 5-year 180 on
also,
that too.
nobody who can shoot on that team.
Yes. That's my theme with Philly. They'll play all the defense in the world they want, but if you can't create your own shot and shoot the ball, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to beat Milwaukee.
Who would you put as the favorite right now, other than the Nets? Who's the second favorite?
No, I won't have the Nets the favorite right now. Not till Durant gets back. Honestly, if I was to pick
you had him in the Eastern Conference Finals last week.
I did, but I don't believe we're obviously going to win. I mean, I could still see Milwaukee being in there. I want to see what Jason Tatum does in Boston. If he really, what's going on? What's he putting on? Is it Parker?
No, Bill Russell has rangs too. Coaching
Rings. I don't. Oh my lord.
Box plus minus. Put all of his rings in a box. Put his rings in a box.
Now I want to see if Tatum can step up for Boston. See how that looks. I don't know how much of I think Boston should be better this year because they don't have the outside noise of Rozier and Kyrie stuff going on anymore.
The Rozier contract is like low-key one of the worst contracts.
I don't think no, because he's still young. I think the worst contract is still Russell Westbrook.
Did any player last year?
Next to Chris Paul, that's the worst one in my opinion.
Did any player the worst contract is the John Wall contract.
Yeah, but at least John Wall was worth it at a point. Chris Paul was never worth
What do you
$35 million
mean?
at this point.
He's worth it next year. He's worth it last year. They almost beat the Warriors.
When? When did they almost, like 2 years ago, dude? Like, they did not come close last year to beating the Warriors. They looked horrendous.
The games were close.
Chris Paul missed a game 7 because of a hamstring injury.
Right, so he got hurt, and then they lost to the Warriors.
And they also shot, like, was it 3 for, like, 25 from three-pointer? Like, Ariza didn't make one.
It was like
PJ.
0 for 27.
Yeah, it was like
a historic
James Harden's typical Game 7 appearance.
It was. I don't agree with that either. I mean, you can rip James Harden for like this or that as far as like playoffs go and everything like that. But for what he did last year, carrying that team after injuries and everything like that, they were a game away from getting the 2 seed and potentially winning the championship. When you have that, all these contracts are relative. You say, okay, is the contract worth it? Is the contract not worth it? It's worth it if you win the championship. Like, so we talk about the Al Horford contract. You're not paying for the last 2 years. You're paying for the first 2 years.
Yeah, but like when like I said, with Al Horford, you don't pay someone $25 million for a leader of presence and all that. I think that's absolutely stupid money wasted.
But the Cowboys are paying Jason Witten for the same thing. He's a $4 million tight ends coach.
That's because that's a veteran. Okay, $4 million is a lot better than $25 million. And $4 million for 1 year versus 4 year, $100 million. Like that's not even a comparable like. That's not comparable.
You're paying. I mean, $4 million for one guy on a 50-man roster is equivalent to $10 million or $20 million for one guy on a 10-man roster.
That math makes no sense. There's no way.
I'm not good at math, so I was just hoping you'd go along with it.
No way. The only reason why is I think Horford is like I don't hate Horford. I just hate what he's getting paid. He's not a $25 million a year guy anymore. That's a lot of money for a team that could have had Jimmy Butler still. Like there was no reason for them to lose Jimmy Butler and other money.
Right, but what did they do last year with Jimmy Butler?
They were a shot away, a rattle away from going to overtime.
A series away, yeah.
Yeah, I mean they would have
lost to the Warriors.
Lost, yeah. It's my man Taco.
Airbud's career was too short.
Dude, wow.
Dude from Like Mike is better than anyone Brooklyn Nets player ever except Paul Pierce.
I honestly want to see a foot race.
I love this guy.
I want to see a foot race between Parker and Ethan, and I don't know who I'd put money on. Every player makes more than any should.
No, they don't.
I don't believe
so
that.
I was having this argument with somebody. This argument with somebody at work the other day.
I love these arguments with hard right side guys. I love these.
I don't know. I don't know what you guys think about this. Because I'm the only one at my job that watches sports, and we were looking at like contracts. So a contract came up on ESPN about what somebody made. And I said, okay, that contract's fair. Like, there's only what 300 players in the NBA in the world, and not even all 300 of those players even are good enough to be in the NBA. You just have to fill out the rosters. And somebody said something about like brain surgeons, and I said NBA players should make more money than brain surgeons because there's more people who are able to do brain surgery in the world than can play in the NBA.
I get the argument with being cops, and cops deserve more. That I just kind of think to myself, every athlete could be a cop.
And there's actually like 60 more jobs that are more dangerous than being a cop.
It's not even just that. Just like the fact that you're truly the 1% of the world if you can do these professional sports. And
yeah, it's all relative. It's like why did these people?
It's the lottery ticket, dude. It's what it is. I mean.
Yeah, but it's not a lottery ticket. Like they worked their entire. Okay, you're born with certain gifts, but you worked your. There's so many people who were born with the talent to be in the NBA that didn't make it. You have to work hard.
Guys like Hassan Whiteside get found at LA Fitness.
Okay, these guys don't deserve the money. Like, there's a lot of people who. Wait, what?
Thursday night at social. Oh, dude, I actually do put money on Ethan on this one.
We're gonna start at Social House.
I don't know. I think Parker. I take that back. And Parker, because Parker can't drink while he's working in social, so I'm taking money on Parker.
We're gonna just start at Social House having like illegal races in the parking lot, like not even car races, just foot races.
40s. Straight 40s.
As somebody who's been a part of I'm faster than you, I'll do a drunk race, and I fell out of the box.
Oh man, that's
Not a good idea.
Ethan's allowed to drink at work. Parker at the Bears, we're not drinking at work right now. So
instead of duck races, it's drunk races.
ultimate drunk racing, I like it. All UDRs.
You got to get a arm wrestling tournament going.
That's one thing I refuse to ever do in a bar is arm wrestling.
Arm wrestling?
That is one thing I refuse to do.
I'm not weak. I'm a pretty decently strong guy, but I've always sucked at arm wrestling. I don't know what it is. I don't know what muscle you use, but I've never worked it out, I guess.
I just feel like if you arm wrestle at a bar, it's just like you're past the point of being a decent human being ever. Like, yeah, just like going at it and you just slay. It's like the whole process, just like, what are you doing?
The whole
dude?
premise of it is
it's like, whoa, like anyone who smacks a bicep before they do anything, it's just not something you should do.
No, it's the whole Kevin Hart stand-up thing where he's with his mom in the car and they get out in a parking lot.
Yeah.
He's about to fight this guy and the guy slaps both of his legs. He's like, oh, no, sorry, mom. Fuck that. He's like, anyone who slaps both their legs before they start fighting, you don't want to fight that guy.
It's like, I just would not want to do any event where someone smacks their bicep before. I don't know. I just would not. Like, it just seems like an event not to. I mean, unless, it's the Yankees hitting home runs, then that's a whole other story, which we continue to do. It's beautiful.
What the hell were we talking about?
We were going over about contracts and.
Oh, if people are Chase said every player is makes more money than they should. I mean, the salary cap is what it is. People look at these contracts and like, oh, that's crazy. I mean, the only player that makes more than he should, there's a couple, but when the salary cap's 110 million and John Wall is making like 40 million, that's too much. There's a couple of shitty contracts, but it's capitalism. If someone's willing to pay you this money.
Just how much money do you think the owners are making? Like, you think the players are making a lot of money? Like, you think these owners aren't like...
There's no reason that there should even be a salary cap in the NBA. Like, why is there even a salary cap? Just because the owners can't control themselves from spending too much money?
Yeah, as I say, it's going to get out of hand really quickly.
Right,
I mean,
but
Bryce Harper's making a $400 million contract. It's not even an All-Star game right now.
Well, that went south really quick.
Like that could happen in basketball very quickly. I mean, all it takes is that next guy to get paid X amount.
But so the argument against it is, well, then all the big market teams will just have all the control. And as a Pistons fan, I say, what hope do I ever have? There's a salary cap now, and nobody wants to play on my team. The only way we get a star like Blake Griffin, who's after his prime, is he says.
I don't know. He was all NBA third team. That's the best he's been in a little bit.
He had a really good season. He looked like LeBron last year, and it sounds like a joke when I say that.
You're gonna piss some people off with that statement.
No. The way he played, it was the same style that LeBron was playing. I mean, he's not as good, I'm saying, but he was playing that kind of style with distributing and being the team's number one option, all that kind of stuff. But the only reason he's in Detroit is because the Clippers lied to him.
Yeah.
They said, we're not going to trade you if you resign. He resigned, and they traded him.
It was smart they did, because clearly look at them now.
So as far as the whole Russell Westbrook thing, now he's going to want to get out. He's still, to me, my favorite player to watch. But any team he goes to is going to be better. It just, you're not going to have to give up as much as you would normally have to give up to get him because his contract is what it is.
But when we say better, like, what is better really? Like, are they going to, like, if he goes to the Heat?
Well, it depends what team he goes to, yeah.
If he goes to the Heat, like, what are they seed-wise?
The Heat?
Yeah. Because let's not get this misconception on Jimmy. Jimmy Butler's a very good player. But between him and, and Russell Westbrook, it's like, okay.
Well, I mean, we saw when he was on the Bulls what they did as the best player. When he was on the Timberwolves, he was arguably the best player. I mean, it depends on the East. I think the top 4 seeds are pretty much cemented. It's going to be interesting to see next year because you're much higher on the Nets than I am. As far as I'm concerned, they pretty much traded, next year at least, D'Angelo Russell out for Kyrie.
Much the motivated Kyrie Irving. I think
so you think that they're going to break into the top 4 seeds next year as far as they're going to...
Oh, my Lord, man. The Heat is a 3 seed with Jimmy Butler after you give up all that? I mean, like, after you... Because you have Russell Westbrook.
He's a Heat homer, too. Yeah.
Dude, like, come on. Like, I get my claim with the Nets going to the Eastern Conference is crazy, but let's also not forget, like, Kyrie has been to a finals and won a finals. Like, Russell Westbrook has, like... They'll win games. That's Russell. I just think a 3 seed is.
But so who do you think is going to get?
Yeah.
If you're saying Nets next year to Eastern Conference Finals, they're going to have to be a top 4 seed. No 5 seed or below is going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. So who are they going to knock out? It's either going to be the Bucks.
I think we knock out Philly. I think we knock out Philly.
I mean, I would say the Raptors. The Raptors were the 2 seed.
The Raptors aren't making the playoffs.
No,
Probably.
they'll make the playoffs.
With who? who are they going out there with right now? The Raptors are probably not. The Pistons
Kyle Lowry
are immediately better than them already, and they made the playoffs. So you guys were an 8 seed. The Heat will be better than with Jimmy Butler. We will have Orlando still a playoff potential team in that
I'm
aspect.
saying who's going to be the top 4. I mean,
top 4. I mean, you should be able to look at.
It's going to be Bucks, Celtics, 76ers. I don't think the Nets are going to be in the top 4 next year. I'll tell you that. I don't know.
I don't know. The Pacers, maybe because they got, Brogdon? Is that who they got, Brogdon now?
Well, they're going to have Oladipo back, too.
I'm not as giant on Oladipo, to be honest. I'm just not a huge made the finals with LeBron. He's overrated. Oh, Lord.
No, Kyrie's like a top 10 guy in the NBA.
Did he shut off the finals during the finals?
No, and LeBron literally won.
You got to give Kyrie some love during those finals.
LeBron literally won one of his championships because of that shot that Kyrie hit. Without that shot,
also because Kyrie was averaging 29. Even LeBron gives Kyrie a lot of love. He said he should have appreciated him more.
Kyrie is low-key one of the more underrated players now. He took such a hit on his reputation last year with everything that happened.
And Boston just wasn't the right team for him.
And that's fine. It doesn't. As far as the team goes, that's fine. He's still an awesome player.
Put it this way.
What is he?
I'd rather take Kyrie over Goran Dragic. Here we go. Okay, if we want to go into this,
They almost traded Dragic. Dragic was not.
Dude, they should have.
But
they got rid of Whiteside's contract. Great move by Miami. Pat Riley still got it.
Yeah, that's
still got it.
So we talked about this already last week of what was Portland thinking as far as getting the Whiteside thing, and the only thing I could come up with was to be on the court with Anthony Davis. I don't know, but
yeah, it's still then.
They got a pick, I think, to take him. They got a first-round pick, but people are trading picks now like that.
Oh man, because it's showing what works. Teams are either buying fully into their future or they're buying a free agency in.
No, the whole Kyrie thing is when people say he's overrated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who's saying he's a top 5 point guard in the league? Name 5 point guards.
Yeah, that's where we're gonna come into next. It's like Kyrie Irving. He's easily disliked because he voices his opinion loudly.
That's a very good way to describe him. He doesn't make himself easy to like.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, I think there's Kevin Durant though.
I think he's just fucking around.
Dude, well, yeah, you have to
Westbrook and Butler is better than KD and Kyrie.
KD on one leg is already a better offensive player than Jimmy Butler is.
We saw it. We saw it before he went out.
He dropped 12 in 12 minutes against Toronto. No big deal.
Yeah. Which we already know he was hurt at that point.
Oh man, God.
No, I don't think he can actually be serious if you watch the NBA and think that Westbrook and Butler would be.
I think it's a 5 seed playoff team. I think they're a solid team.
But think about what he's saying. Westbrook and Butler. We just saw Westbrook and Paul George, and they didn't make it on the first round.
Paul George is so much better. So much better.
We just saw it. Westbrook and Paul George is greater than Westbrook.
This man Paul George is just trying to. This man Westbrook's trying to get the hell away from Damian Lillard because he doesn't want to see him anymore in a playoff series. After that shot, that's the last he wants to see of Damian Lillard in a playoff series. He's so hurt by that. He's practicing threes from there right now.
One of the reasons that I really hope that KD comes back healthy and everything, and that he is who he was, is some of the series that we can see.
Oh man!
Last year, I really wanted to see the Bucks because I wanted to, and it worked out well because the finals was awesome with Kawhi. But I really want to see Giannis against Kevin Durant. These two guys are fighting for. These two guys are fighting for whose league is it? And then look at Kevin Durant. All of a sudden, he did get hurt, so it changes it. But Kevin Durant thinks, oh, LeBron's getting older. This is my league now. And then all of a sudden, it's no, here's Giannis. It's his league now.
It's not Giannis's league. Stop it. It's not. What has Giannis done for it to be his league? He won an award off popularity when he wasn't.
Popularity?
Yes, because he's shoved down. ESPN has shoved him down our throats for 2 years. For 2 years, it's look, him, just like they're doing with Zion. It's him. They did it with LeBron. They shove these guys in people's faces, and
because they're good.
But there are multiple guys better than Kawhi is better than him. Kevin Durant's better than him. Paul George is better than him.
Paul George is not better than Giannis. Paul George is not better than Giannis.
I'm sorry, Paul George is it's literally right there in MVP voting with him. With having to play with a ball dominant
Where did he finish with him?
Second or
lower
third.
Than him.
Yeah, because literally Giannis is it on his team. That's it. The rest of the guys are all right.
Who's the Russell Westbrook that Giannis is playing with?
That's the whole point. Paul George doesn't have a Russell Westbrook hoarding shots, chucking threes that he cannot make on a consistent basis. He had his best
season with Westbrook. He didn't have that season with the Pacers ever.
Yeah, but we're also looking at he was also a lot younger. Him getting older and playing better.
He was a year younger, a year before he went to the.
He's been on the Thunder for a little bit.
No, but you're saying he's a lot older. He was year
2 years.
older.
2 years of experience is older. It's old. That's clearly older.
But you're saying that Westbrook held him back, but
yes,
he
because
had his
when
best
you take,
season.
but when you take, because it could have been a better season. It's like how you like look at the shots that Westbrook takes, the turnovers he has. Like Westbrook does not help people much on the floor either. Let's not forget Westbrook was also in his worst offensive year too, and he still was not stopping shooting.
I wouldn't say his worst offensive year. He had his worst shooting year. And shooting has never been like what makes him a good offensive player.
Okay, but here's the problem with him. He doesn't stop shooting. He still thinks he can shoot. Like, he will shoot 6 3-pointers on average, and he's shooting less than 30%. He can't even hit 70% at the line as an offensive point guard. The guy is really he may be the most overrated player in the game. Yes, his box score is amazing, but get out of the box score era and actually watch the game. I don't give a shit if you dribble a ball down to 3 seconds and pass it out. Yes, he's going to shoot the ball because he's not going to get it 24-second. His rebounds, the only 7-footer in basketball is Steven Adams to run away from a rebound. He will run away and let Westbrook take the rebound. That's an uncontested rebound. That's not a true averaging 10 rebounds a game.
Okay, yeah, I'm not big on the whole rebounds or the whole triple-double thing, but I do watch the games, and I do watch Russell Westbrook, and any team would love to have Russell Westbrook on their team.
That's not true. A lot of executives are clearly saying his contract's not anywhere worth it. A lot of executives are saying he's too expensive. There's a reason why there has been an immediate trade for him. The only front office has been Houston and Miami, 2 teams desperate for one more guy.
Right, but Houston has like the smartest GM in the sport, and they want Russell Westbrook.
Okay, Houston does not have the smartest GM in the sport.
Because
Chris Paul's getting paid.
Who's the best GM then?
The best GM in the sport?
The Chris Paul thing. I mean, Chris Paul was a good thing for Houston.
You don't pay a point guard who has an injury history that much money for. No, you don't.
You have to pay these.
When this free agent class is coming in, you can take advantage.
They almost won. Houston almost won with Chris Paul and.
But then what
James
happened
Harden.
this year with it? But then what happened this year? They should have only signed Chris to a 1-year deal.
But he's not going to sign a 1-year deal.
Because who's going to oversign? Who's going to go out there and sign above him?
20 other teams.
I'm for 4 years.
There's so many shitty teams out there that will give these guys the money.
That's such a. It's just the years on his contract at his age.
There's not a lot of
no sense.
There's not so many bad contracts in the NBA because people are just stupid. You just have to sign bad contracts. People are trying.
NBA GMs are the worst of all GMs in all sports.
People are trying to win championships in the first couple years of the contracts. When they signed the John Wall contract, it looks very shitty now, which it is. But at the time, he had a really good season before that.
His injury is what makes it bad. But I'm not saying like Chris Paul in general. It's just his age, and from the start of the contract to the end of the contract makes it bad.
But his age, he's still good. Like, I mean, okay, you say don't give him that many years, don't give him that much money, then you wouldn't have got him in the first place.
I just think $40 million for him is
then
actually insane.
Then he would have been playing in like Orlando.
And I would have been fine. Then you know what? Houston should just literally waited out one more free agent class and gotten someone else to come to Houston with him. Because Paul, like Harden, if you have Harden, Chris Paul, and because Chris Paul's not going to get traded for Russell Westbrook. The whole point of Russell Westbrook dump is a salary dump. You're not taking on another
I don't think that's
4-year contract.
Yeah.
So if the Rockets get him, you're going to have Westbrook, Chris Paul, James Harden. Where does that make sense on any court?
I bet you the Lakers wish that they would have waited.
I could see them sending Kuzma down the road.
I wish the Lakers would have. Sorry, I got distracted. I bet the Lakers, what I was saying, would have. Wish they would have kept some of that cap room so they could have either gotten Westbrook or whoever else, or even the Knicks. You think the Knicks wouldn't be dying? You think the Knicks wouldn't be dying right now to take that Westbrook contract?
It doesn't look like they are. There's like no movement.
Well, they don't have the money anymore. It would have to be a trade. They wasted all their money on Julius Randle and Taj Gibson.
Well, it's going to have to be a trade regardless too. I mean, there's a trade regardless for Russell Westbrook.
But you have to have the cap room still.
I get that, but they'll be able to give cap room, and they're giving up young guys, and it's just like.
He said, "Why do you like Paul George so much?"
Dude, watch basketball for more than 10 minutes.
Which to me is
like
weird.
What?
Paul George was in.
Why do you like Russell Westbrook so much? The guy's literally efficiently a horrible point guard. He can't shoot. He gets uncontested rebounds. He's a fathom of a watered down era. Like this. Watch basketball. I don't know what to tell you, dude.
No,
like,
I'm on your
Paul
side.
Paul George is great.
I'm on your side with the Paul George is good thing, but I'm not on your side with the Westbrook is overrated.
But Paul George is Paul George is the reason why the Thunder made the jump that they were, and they still wasn't even big enough because Westbrook hinders them. He was horrendous this postseason again. He was trying to match up with Dame Lillard. What'd he do? He did not come close, not even a bit. Paul George was not the problem for them when he was taking over offensively as he did. Russell Westbrook, trying to be what he was not, was the problem. Like that's what it really came down to. He was being outshone, and he's heard it his whole career that Dame Lillard was better than him. And now he's trying to show it wasn't. He got in the middle of a battle, and then it's just like it was clearly shown this playoffs. I don't know. Like I maybe I'm watching the wrong series. You look at the series, I'm like, that's been Russell Westbrook for 3 years.
No, I love Russell Westbrook, but I don't like him more than Paul George. There was a thing that it's one of these things like Stretch said where every NBA championship team had at least 2 Hall of Famers on it.
Yeah.
Along those lines, I heard somebody say that you can't win a championship if a scoring point guard is your best player, other than Michael Jordan. And I thought about it, and I was like, wow, that actually really makes sense if you think about it. And then, obviously, you have to prorate Paul George as a forward, as a more, like, always going back, point guard was like, you have to have a point guard, you have to have a point guard. But if you think about it, you can't have a scoring guard as your best player to win a championship team. I guess, I mean, you could say the Warriors, Steph Curry. Yeah, but for the most part, I think it's still true. Thinking like on the fly about it. Now the league is all about forwards now.
These could not tell Tim, man. Maybe not of like all.
Hey, Brett's here.
Oh, there we go.
What up, Brett?
Isaiah Thomas.
Well, I was just thinking out loud about it as far as like a scoring.
Oh, no. When I hear Isaiah Thomas, I immediately think of Detroit Isaiah Thomas. I never think of, I'm so upset that nobody would bring me back to a contract. This
I think
is
about
unfair.
the FAU,
Isaiah
FIU,
Thomas.
or wherever he was at. Chase, how can you say Paul George is not a top 10 player when he finished like top 3 in MVP voting? I don't understand.
I mean, okay, maybe like, and I get it. Like I did say he does have to repeat that again for me to put him in the caliber for top 5.
He's always been good though.
But that's
he came back from like that terrible leg injury. He was always good before that. He just played in Indiana.
Like I don't want to be hung up on being a politician for Paul George, but at the same time, I just look at him like it's insane to look at and think the year he just had and what he's continuing to do. And now he's going to be a Kawhi Leonard in the Clippers. It's just he's going to show it. He's going to finish with a ring at the end of the season.
Yeah, if they're smart, too, they won't bring him back too early. Let him sit out the first 2 months of the season. And this is what teams are going to do now.
They're load managing on all these guys. The Clippers are going to be big on it because they'll be doing it with Kawhi because Kawhi was kind of on his last leg throughout those finals, too.
Yeah, he's going to do whatever he wants, and he deserves to do whatever he wants because he's the finals MVP on 2 different teams.
I can name 10 guys who are.
All right, start naming 10 guys, or write a list of 10 guys, and I'll tell you as soon as you're wrong.
Honestly, no, he could honestly come up with a pretty good list there. Whether it's an arguable list, I would give him. I mean, because you're going to add in your big guys. So I think there's only 1 or 2 big guys you could really put in that list. You can't put Joel Embiid in my opinion. He doesn't have a resume on it yet.
No, and you have to like factor in injuries, and Paul George had an MVP season, and we know now that he had like a fucking torn rotator cuff, which if you're a basketball player and you can't raise your arm above your head, that's a pretty big goddamn deal.
Kobe had a couple. Actually had one of those throughout his career.
Yeah. As far as like Joel Embiid, I love Joel Embiid. If he stays healthy. And now I think you're going to see guys not playing 82 games for the most part.
You've been seeing it, like, I think, throughout. Now, I think it's just the whole 73 wins. I think there are teams that if they really want to, they can go out and try to beat that, but they never will because minute load is such a big thing now.
Well, there's teams, everyone says the regular season doesn't matter, and yet the last game of the regular season, like I said a million times, Houston
and the year before did
Houston
too.
went from the 2 seed to the 4 seed, and they went from having to play the Warriors in the second round to having to not play them until the finals.
Yeah.
If Houston would have played the Warriors in the finals, they probably would have made it to the finals, in my opinion.
They lost in 6.
No, I'm saying instead of having to play them in the second round, they would have played them in the Western.
Okay.
So as far as like,
I thought you were saying they would go them. Okay.
Yeah,
no,
as far as load management, playing these games. So Toronto did it right.
Yeah.
If they would have played Kawhi all the games and everybody all the games, they would have been the first seed. But it didn't matter. So what I'm saying is, some teams need to be this seed or that seed.
Yeah.
As long as you're a top 4 seed, the only thing you're losing with home court advantage is Game 7 on the road. Which we found out if you have the best player, you're still going to win Game 7 on the road.
Popovich said it this year as well, like he said it every year. I just need to get in, and he went to Game 7 with Denver, which, you know, Denver's a team in the West next year that I think that are going to be a considerable name because it's a young team that's a well-coached group, and they're going to be coming back hungry.
Everybody's saying the West is weak. I mean,
I think the West is still extremely strong because, like, we're forgetting Golden State. Like
he said the East was weak.
Yeah.
But yeah, you still have the Jazz, you still have the Nuggets, and then these are just like the 4, 5, 6 seeds, and those are really good teams.
We're relying a lot on Mike Conley for the Jazz, though. I will say that. Like, I'm not saying Mike Conley can't play, but now we're saying he needs to be healthy all year long. I'm like, that's not a for sure bet right
Yeah, he's
there.
a little bit older, and he went to Ohio State. So
I
like
Conley. I think LeBron, AD, Kawhi, Durant, Steph, Giannis, Lillard, Bradley Beal. That's hysterical. Jokic. Wow. Bradley Beal is better than Paul George.
No, he's definitely not. I mean,
stop.
Embiid, I would say.
That's so rude.
Embiid, I would say.
That's so disrespectful. It's not even like trollish.
Embiid has the talent to be better, but you can't just have talent. Like
he just said Bradley Beal is my problem.
Right. Okay, but there's a difference between having the talent to be better and having the seasons and the games to prove it.
Oh,
you can't just say, okay, Greg Oden is one of the best players of all time. You actually have to play the games and be healthy.
And
Embiid has the talent to be the best player in the league.
Jokic has one good year, and this man is like all of a sudden better than Paul George. Did you watch Beal? Man, God bless. Come on now. You're a Westbrook guy. Did you like Paul George?
Right. So Beal is good, but where was?
I'm not saying Beal's not good, but
No.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you. Where was he in MVP voting? Where he's on a bad team putting up good stats.
It's like who else was going to score on that team?
Devin Booker's really good too.
Yeah,
he's on a shitty team putting up good stats. I think Devin Booker and Bradley Beal is a decent comparison. Bradley Beal has more years in the league, and he has more resume behind him.
Well, CJ is.
Yeah.
Dame Lillard, good. He's got Lillard in there. Okay, good. I don't like Jokic.
Lillard is not better than Paul George.
No, I don't think he is. But if you're gonna put a name in your top 10, I would hope to see him in that list, not Bradley Beal at any point.
I think
top 10 Gator.
I think top 10 Gator.
I
think other than LeBron, I'll give you AD, Kawhi, Durant, Steph, Giannis, but I don't think Lillard, Beal, Jokic, or Embiid. You can't put those guys ahead of him.
Like Lillard's been swept twice in the playoffs now. And it started to kind of look like, and I understand his playoffs, his shot he had a great playoff.
The position in the NBA now is forward.
Yes,
so
that's my big thing.
You're Paul George, and it's not only forward, it's point forward. It's being able to be over 6'3", 6'4", being able to handle the ball, distribute. Point guards now are not the same as point guards were.
No, yeah.
It's now you have to be a forward that can handle the ball and distribute and score. The new NBA is forwards and 6'8", 9, 10 guys being the point guards of their team.
LeBron has raved about Paul George. LeBron hasn't raved about Bradley Beal. He says, yeah, Bradley Beal will be awesome to bring to LA. Yeah, but he just wants someone else there. He just wants to win.
I would put Clay ahead of Bradley Beal if you're going to put somebody
that's another one. I think Jokic and Embiid is great. Jokic had his best year this year, but his best year wasn't better than Paul George's best year this year because Paul George was also in the running for Defensive Player of the Year.
No, and Jokic is really good, but I mean, we saw what happened when Jokic is your best player. Like, they definitely folded in that series.
He's soft, dude. He's soft.
No, they folded in the series, and he's really good distributor as far as that whole thing goes. And I think if he had a better point guard or backcourt and everything, maybe the series goes different.
An older group, because I don't think they're a bad group.
But he's not better than
older.
Paul George.
Yeah.
Paul George can be the best player, I think, on a championship team, depending on what other players are around him.
I don't know, man. I think it's a solid. I think DeRozan could sneak in before. Ooh, man, that's a nice little argument there. If DeRozan would have any type of a takeover factor,
no. DeRozan is a player from a different time.
Yeah, but if he would just have this takeover factor, like everyone's been trying to force feed him to have, he could be good.
But to put Beal in the top 10 is crazy.
Yeah, that's something that I
even to list it too before Embiid, like Embiid to be last.
I was upset that. Listen, I mean, most of the lists outside of the last three. I mean,
Kyrie's not on there.
He's clearly not a Kyrie guy.
I don't know. It's going to be a really good, entertaining season. I'm excited.
Can't be an order either. There's no way.
No,
that's an order.
It's just going off the top of your head.
If that's an order, that's crazy talk.
But there was a time when, as a Pistons fan, I wanted DeRozan to be a part of the Pistons. He was going to go from the Raptors to the Pistons. He wound up re-signing with the Raptors. But that's just being a Pistons fan and everything. Anything else about the NBA, or we're becoming like an NBA podcast
right now? Dude, we really are. I mean, it's the All-Star game for baseball.
I was telling you last night though, NBA is sneaking up there as far as like competing with NFL for me. As far as like to me, college football is always gonna be number one, but NBA is sneaking up there as far as like entertainment and how much I love to watch it, like week to week, night to night. As far as
my biggest issue with college football is, I'm tired of the BS bowl games. Like, I don't care about the Heineken National Bowl and like
Yeah, but nobody's making
Bismarck, Iowa.
But nobody's making you watch it.
No,
though.
but
it's
they're
for
on.
gamblers.
But no, I get it's for gamblers, but it's like it's also like this BS. Like, oh, you finished 4th in your division, you finished 5th. You guys should go play in a bowl game against each other. Or you guys like there needs to be a playoff.
But what's it hurt? There is a playoff.
No, but it's a dumb playoff. It's a 4-team playoff, and guys who win the like when Penn State won the Big Ten, Ohio State win the playoff. You win your own conference, and it doesn't even get you in. Another team can still get in ahead of you.
But I like that because it's not just like, okay, this conference won, so they're in. I like there to be some kind of like a debating, like human factor to it. It's not just like you won the Pac-12, you're in. We know that just because this team lost 2 games, they're still better than this team that won 1 game.
I still watch it week after week,
game.
and I still follow college football very, very religiously. I just don't like the whole setup for. I'm not a bowl game guy. I just don't believe you should be able to win 6 games and you're in a bowl game.
But that's like a small complaint, though. Nobody really cares about that. Like
bowl games are huge.
But nobody's making you watch it.
No, I'm not saying anybody's making you watch it. But it just waters down the product that we don't get a good playoff. We truly don't. We don't get to see good like matchups in college like we should.
But what does the Meineke Car Care Bowl have to do with like the I was trying to think of like the best one, like the Poinsettia Bowl. I was trying to think of the funniest name.
There we go. Now, see, that's better. That's better. I'll listen to that one. James Harden.
Oh, I didn't even fucking think about
I know.
James
I feel like an ass for that one.
Me too.
I think I was just so upset with Jokic, Embiid, and Beal that like everything else flew out. But I'll give you
It's tough when you don't have everything in front of you. Like,
thank you for taking Bradley Beal out of your top 10.
Yeah,
I appreciate that as an NBA fan.
So, your whole thing, what about college football? What do the bowl games matter?
Because the bowl games matter because you're still going to want to watch some of these guys play. Like the bowl, and I'm not, just because I go to UCF, I'm not one of these adamant, oh my God, because when it comes to the small schools again, I didn't want Hawaii in back when they had Brennan. McCoy, not McCoy.
But you're talking about.
Yeah, Brennan, it was Brennan, Cole Brennan. And
but you're talking about more the top end. We're not talking about the bottom end of.
Well, no, because when Hawaii was winning all their games, wins the Sugar Bowl, or when Boise State won all these games.
Yeah, you had that one receiver that went to the Dolphins with the dreads.
He was a slot guy. Oh my God, Devon Best, 4.740.
There you go, nice. We could do this forever. You want to know players that I think about when I have nightmares? Armani Edwards. You guys remember that guy? You know who he played for?
Nice name.
Appalachian State.
Oh man! Wow,
no,
what a game!
bring it up?
Didn't you guys lose to Oregon the next week after that too?
I don't want to think about it.
Dude, I remember that one because you guys had a lot of hope that season coming in.
Appalachian State. We always have hope.
But
we're doing the chip this year.
It's just more of the fact that like you have teams like, and it's not because I go to UCF.
Ash Ketchum over here, switching my hat around.
If UCF, let's say, goes undefeated in their conference again, and I am very adamant, I think big conferences need to be in the playoffs strictly until they open it up more, and then there should be, that one qualifier that can get in.
But so, what is your complaint about the bowl games, though?
The bowl games are just useless to me.
But what does it matter? Like, it's not hurting anything.
It's just flat out. It takes away. I don't think college football is as competitive as the NFL.
You don't think it's only the top 10, 15 teams have a chance.
Well, that's my thing. That's
You don't think it's cool when they're like announcing the bowl
football
games and some team from like Central Michigan goes to like the Hawaii Bowl?
No. Like not at all.
Flatly no.
like not at all.
No emotions whatsoever.
Like no. Like I really actually just look at that like, well, great. Now
that was a great answer.
Like no.
You don't think it's cool when Central Michigan goes to the Hawaii Bowl? No.
Like
stupid.
It's just like I look at them like, okay, so they're gonna go to this game. That's awesome. But
but what is it hurting though?
I don't believe in rewarding teams for going 6 and 5.
Participation trophy.
I don't even like calling it that.
I'm a gambler. I want every team to.
I'm with you on that one. From that, but that's an even more selfish aspect than mine. Like, what are you talking about? I'm caring about the kids. You're like, I like parlays. I like,
I want to see like the Charmin shit bowl. Like the Charmin toilet
Richmond versus FSU. Willie Taggart's back at a bowl game.
FSU, wow, you're really dissing them in the shit bowl.
Well,
I want to see
they have to play a D1 AA team 2 years ago just to get in a bowl game?
I want to see like the 120th team go against the 119th team in like the Charmin shit bowl.
I don't know. I just think that they should keep the major bowl games, obviously, like up until like the Cotton Bowl and throughout.
It's just a weird complaint. Like, who cares? Don't watch it then.
It's not that it's just don't watch. It's like, no, why isn't just college football just create the right type of playoff system? Because here's the thing too, it's good for NFL scouts where they can see how these guys really play with another 4 weeks under their belt. Because the college season is shorter than the NFL season.
But what's the right playoff system? I mean, you have 8. You're gonna have the 9th.
I think you should have. I think 6. Get the first 2 a bye. 1 and 2 gets a bye. Every conference winner gets in,
college football,
and an at-large gets in.
In college football, a bye is a huge thing, though, not to have to play a game.
If you're 1 and 2, that's what you get for being a bye, just like in the NFL. I'm pretty sure if you're like in the NFL, if you get a bye, it's huge. 1 and 2
It's
deserves.
not as big as in college football.
What are you talking about? It's the best talent possible seeing you coming in. Of course it's bigger.
I'm saying it's too much of an advantage to not have to play a game.
But I think it's only right to give 1 and 2 that type of like. It's just like I just think you need to give them that, so that way you go ahead coming in and you come in into the next game on it. It's like there needs to be 2 more slots in. The only way you can do that, because 8 teams becomes a lot then. And I understand we're talking about 2 more teams, but I just think that there needs to be an at-large for that small school just to be in, just because college basketball hasn't, college baseball hasn't. I mean, college baseball got won theirs with there's Coastal Carolina won it 3 years ago, I believe. And in college basketball, you have Butler win the championship. You're never gonna have a small school winning.
I don't know if Stretch was being serious or kidding, but I had an idea on a long time ago on the podcast about double elimination. And then there was like some kind of a crazy board that I had for all these teams.
Love double elimination.
Oh, God damn you.
That is good, though.
I can't wait for college football. We're going to get pissed off.
Oh, dude, I do watch it religiously.
But there was a whole thing I had with double elimination, and it wasn't just the tournament, it was the whole season, or whatever it was. And it's like you lose twice, you're out. Man, I don't know. But for college football, I like how it is now with the 4-team playoff. One good team's going to get left out, but if you have 8 teams, the 9th team's going to complain. If you have 10 teams, the 11th team's going to complain.
That is so right. But I just believe that there should be an opportunity for an at-large to get in. And winning your conference needs to be a big deal. That's a Power 5.
If you look back over the years, what team that got left out really had a chance that would have won?
Well,
what was like Ohio State?
Ohio
maybe
State when they
were a 4
out.
seed and they wound up winning. But for the most part, the 1-2 seeds are the teams that are going to win.
Ohio State's the team.
Until Michigan gets left out.
Ohio State team this year was pretty solid. In the year their senior season with Ezekiel, when they saw Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl, well, not senior season, junior season, that was a team that got left out that honestly had a really big opportunity to get in.
Did you watch Home Run Derby at all last night?
Yes, I did, and even baseball can't keep the Home Run Derby shorter. Like, it's crazy, dude.
No, come on, you can't complain about that.
I'm not complaining because it was a great Home Run Derby by all means. It really was. But it was supposed to be on from 8 to 10 until like 11:40. I was like, oh man, baseball. They just know how to keep it going.
It's a funny thing to say as far as like they can't keep it short. And the All-Star games tonight too. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely going to bet on that. I don't know which way I'm going to go.
American League.
You think so?
I mean, the Yankees are on the American League, so.
I'm going NL just for that.
They have a really good team this year,
but I had money. I did because they had 2 sides of the bracket, so I bet on one from each side. I picked Bregman, who fucked himself.
I was big on Jock, man, and I was upset about that.
And no, you shouldn't even be upset. Like the way they do the seating, and we're not going to start like parsing the Home Run Derby and fixing it. There's enough things wrong with baseball that we don't need to worry about exhibition things. But for Vlad Guerrero and Jock Peterson, that should have been the final. It shouldn't be like some made-up seeding where it's 1 through 8, and for some reason this guy's a 1 seed and that guy's an 8 seed.
Yep.
And they wind up going. It should just be like in the first round, whoever the 2 are or the 4 that hit the most home runs, then they go. Why is it one person versus another person? That's dumb. So I'm happy I won money on Pete Alonso, but he won 14-13. Vlad Guerrero hit 29.
I will say the Home Run Derby is historically known for the semifinal rounds actually always better than the championship round, because that's like because Josh Hamilton's big round in New York was not the championship round.
Right.
Judge's huge round. I mean, you have a lot of guys that had really big rounds that weren't in the and that's where I still liked where it added in. What I really liked about, because some people are like, well, it's just the young guys, because the difference is the prize money was $1 million. These guys are making $550,000, so you hear millions on the line.
That was the coolest thing. I think there was only 2 guys. It was Carlos Santana and one other guy.
That was
that made more than $1 million. Every other guy would have like doubled their salary for the year.
No, it's got to be Acuna, because Acuna signed a bigger deal with them. Bregman, no, Acuna. Acuna signed a longer deal to stay in
but his is
Atlanta.
backloaded though. So I mean, what they were making this year. Acuna was only like 7 years for $100 million or something,
which was
like
a
that.
steal.
But I think the cool thing was the $1 million part of it, and as far as that goes, like it actually puts something on the line. As far as winning it goes, I don't know. As far as the All-Star game goes tonight, it's another exhibition type game.
We're coming into the second half of baseball, and this is when baseball gets good. The trade deadline comes up in August. The waiver trade deadline in September. Rosters expand, and
I haven't been watching since you told me not to watch because the Yankees were going to win.
Well, I mean, it's only if you don't want to see them win. So clearly, I know what you don't want to see. So.
I'm just rooting so hard against them now,
Oh,
just
man.
because he said that.
You know, it's gonna be a special season for us New York Yankee fans.
You think so?
It's been long
I
overdue.
feel like
It's
you're
been 10
setting
years.
baseball's so random. I feel like you're setting yourself up for disappointment, though.
No, see, the problem is with Yankee fans.
No,
the problem
see,
is
no,
with-
I'm not
The
saying
problem
that.
is with Yankee fans is we're disappointed when we don't win the World Series because that's the expectation.
Right,
And that's just
every
what
year.
and that's what comes with it. Is what's your expectation? To win the World Series. Like that's the expectation, and people like, and I'm proud to be a part of a fan base that likes that. Like that's. I think they have a very good shot. We have a trade deadline coming up. I think it's going to be a pretty active one when it comes to pitching because you're going to see some teams that still need, because the only starting rotation that's like mind-boggling right now.
I'm sure the Tigers will trade away any good players.
Tyler Boyd looks like he'll be on his way out.
Yeah, I'm
And
sure he is.
that's an arm that's been making a lot of people happy. So it
He's
looks
our
like-
all-star, I think, right?
I believe
Tyler
so,
Boyd.
actually. And looks like he'll be on his way out, so it's another Tigers pitcher out and about.
Yeah. Every time I watch baseball now, it's just like, oh, that guy used to pitch for the Tigers. Nice no-hitter.
Yep.
Who do you think's the favorite right now, as far as, not in your eyes, but betting odds to win the World Series?
To win the World Series, Houston's still a strong.
I'll tell you
vote.
the Yankees
Houston's
are.
still a
This is,
strong
just,
vote.
this is just my site, but I'll tell you the Yankees are second.
Where they have the Dodgers as one. See, I'm not. Here's my problem with the Dodgers is like
Dodgers 1, Yankees 2,
it's been the same
Astros 3.
story for years. Like Boston
They
handled.
fold with pitching in the postseason. The whole
Yeah,
thing.
it's just like Boston handled them. Houston was able to outlast them with their pitching. And I get Ryu's having another good year. I get this is happening. But like I said, it's been the same story for 6 years now with the Dodgers. I just don't look at it and think, oh my God, this is like a different Dodgers team. It's pretty much on like the same thing going on.
Yeah.
Like it's no different in the trends they've been going on. I do believe though Houston is a big threat. I mean, they just had the lineup up and down. They have the starting rotation up and down, and their lineup is starting. I mean, their bullpen's starting to get a lot better too. So when you look at a team like that, that's a threat. And
Not to get off of baseball, but they have Sports Center on here in the background, and I was just thinking about it. I was just curious. Do you think there's ever a time where the NBA could overtake the NFL?
now,
Like I said, it's coming close for me as far as like, and I say that now because it's not
Yeah.
football season, but once football season comes, I'm gonna be fucking pumped.
well, think about it. Like you love football so much that you will also watch amateur, like college football. It's
I like college football
Yeah.
more than anything, though.
well, it's like
That's just-
you'll watch it, but immediately you the love of that, then you transition to these football, and a guy's going to the NFL, and then football's just short enough too, to where you start 1-4. Okay, this could be like your season can be up in the next week or two.
Oh, Westbrook in Detroit? ? Sports Center.
Okay.
What are they saying? Yes? No?
We might be getting breaking news up here.
Man. No.
No breaking news. I was hoping to
I
get
don't.
breaking news for you
I
here.
think that. Wait,
I was really hoping for
awesome.
breaking news. He was going to be doing a car bomb here in a second.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Westbrook,
No,
and
Westbrook in Miami?
question mark.
No.
Westbrook in Miami question mark. Here we go. Pat
What's
Riley
next?
pulls it
Westbrook
off.
in Orlando? ? So everything they're saying is that
Orlando should happen.
everything they're saying, Westbrook has such a good relationship with the Thunder that they're not going to trade him somewhere he doesn't want to go. So
I think
don't.
that's stupid.
I don't. What do you mean it's stupid?
I think it's so stupid when teams do that. When a player is done with you, get what you need out of him.
Like
it's done.
take the best deal no matter
yeah,
what.
it's like, what is this? Like, oh, you know,
Even
listen,
though-
I
even-
could
even
get
though-
that, but I like you, so I'm
even
gonna get this.
even though after Durant left, he's the one that stayed loyal and stayed there and
Yeah, but
everything. You don't owe him anything.
No, because what did Westbrook win you?
What do you mean? What did he?
What
win?
did he win you?
So what you would rather him have left?
Well, no, like if Westbrook had won something, I'd be completely okay. If like you're
But
gonna
only
pick
one
to win
team
something.
wins every year. Just because you don't
I
win.
get that,
then-
but if you don't win anything, then that was my thing with Isaiah
I
Thomas.
can't see
when-
very well. What do they have there? It's the
odds.
championship.
looks like
Lakers are one,
Yeah,
or Clippers 2.
yeah, Clippers are 2.
I feel like Clippers should be 1. Where are the Nets? 3.
No, it looks like we're on the bottom. Looks like we're on the bottom. They're like eighth.
Honorable mentions.
Eighth.
Also receiving votes.
Listen, man. Listen, at least we showed up on the damn thing, okay? I haven't seen any Detroit sports on a favorite in 10 years here, so I'm not hearing it.
That's harsh.
No,
We're getting around time now. I want to give some love. He said fuck Tim Legler. Why? I don't know.
What's Tim Legler?
Heat and Pistons are the best fit. Oh man, if Russell Westbrook goes to the Pistons, I told you right now I'm gonna have a Westbrook jersey.
We gotta
by
get some
next week.
respect to the women's soccer team. I'm not trying to get backlash.
No, yeah. So as soon as I started saying it, I immediately went to something else. No, U.S. Women's National Team won the championship. Megan Rapinoe had the winning goal with the penalty kick and everything. That was awesome. I won $150, so that was cool too.
Thank you, men's American team, for making me lose money. Park and I were not happy about that.
Yeah,
appreciate you guys.
I don't want to say this, but I bet on Mexico.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
I know. I bet on Mexico.
It's okay, man. It's okay. I bet on Memphis against UCF. It had a pretty good payout.
Do you have any?
It looked like I was gonna win it.
I was gonna say, you have any things like that where it's like?
No, I do.
You're betting money, so you can't. Like I do it now because I'm a Detroit fan, so I do it all the time. I bet against the Tigers all the time. I'll never bet against Michigan though.
Even if Urban Meyer comes back for one more year.
Fuck Urban Meyer.
What if Urban Meyer becomes the Michigan coach instead of Harbaugh? Will you be happier?
That'll never happen. I don't have to worry about that. No, I wouldn't be happier. Jim Harbaugh's a better coach than Urban Meyer.
Crazy way to end the segment, but we.
What did you say?
Crazy way to end the segment, but.
Jim Harbaugh is a better coach than Urban Meyer.
Oh man. Well, you and Chase will be here next week to put another with the crazy segments. Crazy top 10s and crazy coaching top 10s.
Oh my God, we'll get into college football. I can't wait for football
I like
season.
Chase. I like how Chase is on here consistently, even if I don't agree with it. I just like the response.
He sticks with his opinions.
I like it. I'm the same way.
He's the Will Kane of commenters.
Oh man.
Whether it's right or wrong, I'm sticking with it, and I'm going hard after
I like
it.
him. I like the fact that he's always responsive.
The John Jones fight. Did you watch that at all?
Yes, I did. I watched Nunez just absolutely destroy. Nunez is the greatest fighter in women's history. She showed that when she absolutely dismantled Rousey, when she knocked out Cyborg in the first round, and then she just handled him home in the first round. There's not a woman you can put in front of her.
It was not like it was a good fight as far as like the first round goes and everything. She got the leg kick to the head.
Oh man, it was beautiful.
And then just finished her off. But it was a decent first round. I don't think it was like crazy outmatched or anything like that.
It's just like she always finds a way to like always just like she's built so damn thick. Like, I've won my most money off her fighting, off those two fights alone.
So I had, getting into the betting thing, I had like two of the easiest bets. Well, I wouldn't say easiest. The first one was easy. The over-under for rounds in the Nunez and Holly Holm fight, the over-under for rounds was 4.5.
That's crazy.
And I took the under, obviously.
Yeah, that's crazy. Nunez doesn't go that long.
The total for the John Jones fight was 2.5. I took the over. Because I figured Jones would win, but you know, when it gets into MMA, you have to bet like $125 just for John Jones to win $25.
Yeah, it's insane.
I don't know about you, he's my favorite fighter.
He's
John
the most.
Jones
He's my favorite fighter of all time.
Yeah.
He's the most dominant fighter of all time.
It's kind of a shame as far as like all the suspensions and everything goes, as far as like what he could have done, and what he still has done with all the suspension and everything.
I don't, and everyone has their opinion on him, and like he's not a role model,
cocaine.
He's not this and that. But like,
you're watching MMA, you're not watching it for role models.
If you're looking for a role model and you're watching MMA, you're the problem.
Yeah.
You're like, it's just you that's the problem at that point.
If you're watching MMA for role models, I mean, you kind of need to figure it out.
That's tough for me to
I'm not a guy who
comprehend.
watches sports as far as like role models or this or that or anything.
And I just like, fighters gonna make crazy decisions.
Maybe Adrian Peterson's a shitty person. Maybe he hit his kid. Maybe Tyreek Hill sucks. All these kind of people, but I'm not watching them because I need to show my kids or someone else needs to show them. If you need to show your kids an example of how to be a person, maybe you should do it yourself.
I mean, clearly. I don't think you need to have like sports like these sports figures to be like the focal point of like what you should be. Because anyone
if you're looking up, if you need your kids to look up to an athlete to show them how to be a human being, maybe you need to be a better parent.
Go watch Tim Tebow hit 158 in AAA right now. It's a stat too. Check it out, Mets fans. Once again, sucks to be you, not Yankee fans.
Yeah, but if he was a Yankee, you'd be like, yeah, 158.
No, you want to know why? Because two teams didn't go to his workout. The Dodgers and the Yankees. You want to know why? Because why would we waste time when we can have a farm system perfectly fine with that moron?
I heard that he was going to get called up at some point this year.
Yeah, because the Mets are going to be out of it in like 2 months, and they're going to have their expansion. When I said in September when they expand the rosters, he's going to be a part of that because you're going to need to sell tickets when you're like 40 games out of it. It's what the Mets do. He's a perfect for the Mets. He's just good enough to be a sideshow act, but not long enough. Like Jeremy Lin. Like he's like a Jeremy Lin for New York sports. Like you're there for a little bit, but we'll get over you very quickly. I can't believe he has a ring, dude. That's insane.
Who?
Jeremy Lin.
Oh, was he on the Raptors?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's funny. Think about this.
What a career for him.
Kyle Lowry has a ring.
That's upsetting.
Kyle Lowry has a ring.
I hated Kyle Lowry for years.
Kyle Lowry's a champion.
He was so annoyed.
I was always on his side, but he even this postseason was supposed to like his redemption thing and everything. But
you know what? He just, you know, I guarantee you, he's bigger friends with Kawhi Leonard right now than he is with DeMar DeRozan. Because of Kawhi Leonard, he's gonna be a Hall of Famer, and I don't think he should be.
Kyle Lowry?
Bro, the NBA Hall of Fame lets people in. It's almost like
the basketball Hall of Fame.
You played for 10 years, join. Like that's just kind of it now. Like it's not as like I hate the way baseball is because they keep the best players out of the Hall of Fame because of or whatever.
Going into next week, we're kind of finishing up this week. Going into next week, are we gonna think about what we're doing next week? Because most of the free agency thing is all done.
Yeah, it's done. We can't regurgitate more and more.
No, yeah, I mean
Brooklyn winning 2 of the next 4. Like it's just a thing. It's a thing.
Well, we're gonna go into next week. Maybe we'll think about doing some fantasy football things. If you guys want to comment on the Traveling Drunks page, any kind of sports stuff you want us to start doing next week, we're getting into a slow time. I kind of want to do maybe like a mailbag thing I was talking to Stretch about, where people write in questions and we answer that kind of shit, like, oh, what's your best sports moment, anything like that. Anything with fantasy football, maybe next week we can get into some college football recruiting, college football, NFL. NFL is actually like less than 100 days away.
Can't wait.
Which is pretty exciting, yeah.
Bar Scott, can't wait.
But I think we pretty much touched on everything this week. Westbrook to the Pistons, the new super team with him and Blake Griffin. So thank
Bradley
you guys.
Beal, another top 10 player on the team.
Bradley Beal, yeah, top 10 player. Thank you guys all for watching. Brett watched season, yeah. He told me a million times what job he does. I think he does like something with taxes or something. Oh, air conditioning or
That's off, but you're just a little off there.
I don't know. He does stuff. He does stuff.
Who was
with,
that disciple that did the AC? No, he did taxes, dude.
He does stuff with things and he moves stuff around. Brett, maybe he'll come on in the next couple weeks. But we pretty much touched on everything. If you guys have any ideas for next week, we're getting into a slow season. But thanks for watching this week. Analytically Correct. Rob, Marty, Stretch, over here at Public House. Thank you guys for watching. That's why Kawhi is not in Bundesliga. See you guys next week.
He's in his own league.
He's in his own league.